Who is that one relative that no one in the family talks to, and why? My uncle. He moved to Australia in the 1970s. He may or may not be alive. He may or may not be aware it's just him, and my 96-year-old aunt left out of the original 7 siblings. No one has details for him. No big falling out, just everyone seemed to vastly prefer him being in Australia. His only crimes I've managed to pin down are not letting my dad touch his Superman comics in 1960 whenever, and being a bit of an asshole. It was me, and it was because of my drinking. Coming up on 5 years sober, and it took 3 years of sobriety just to get invited to Christmas. So next Christmas will only be like the second I've gotten the invite to in 15 years or so. Took my sister aside last weekend to give her an apology for all that time, and sorry that I was never an uncle to her kids. They're all grown now, so can't change that, but I'm sorry the bottle was more important than everything, and everyone during that time. I lost everything. A lot of what and who I lost I'll never be able to get back in my life. My uncle. He has since passed, but he was a severe alcoholic and would come to family gatherings pissed out of his mind. Yes, he drove too. Died in a chair alone in his apartment. Bled to death internally from alcohol. The M's only got called due to the smell. I do miss him at times. He was a great uncle when I was young. My brother. Married a lunatic and was an asshole to my mom during her chemo. The bitch's mom had the audacity to make a comment about how much my mom attended church at her memorial service and asked the preacher to reconsider doing the ceremony. Hopefully their God forgives them, because I never will. I have a really large family. We found out one brother was sexually assaulting our baby sister from when she was 3 until she was 14. She had told my mom. Mom did nothing. That brother has been pushed out by the 12 of us. My parents are dead to us too. Me, cause I'm the only deaf member in the entire family and the only deaf guy in the town as well, so there was almost no ASL beside mom, aunt, and older brother. Even so, we didn't really talk like a family. So I grew up with minimal sign language, no ASL for my day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, etc. I now see holidays as pointless and waste of time. My mom only FaceTimed me once in 13 years, and that was to find out where my cousin were in the store. I was with him at the time, but yet FaceTimed my cousin and older brother frequently. Go figures. If you've got a deaf family member, it helps a lot learning ASL and spending time with them. Don't leave them out. Edited. Holy shit, 600 now, 1.1k upvotes. That's insane. Did not expect this at all. Thank you all for the kind comments, support and love. You're rocks. I'm pretty sure my brother has killed people, among other serious, maybe more serious, crimes. Legally there's nothing I can do. What evidence? I know the police and FBI also know. I have a restraining order against him and moved as far away as I can. One day he'll finally go down for a crime and there'll be a Netflix special on him, and they'll ask why the family was complicit, as if we could stop any of this. Me. Because I escaped to the opposite coast 50 years ago, and the one that isn't dead is on my permanent no talk shit list. I'm so happy to have left this family behind. The only one I cared about was my mom, and I know she envied, not in a bad way, the fact that I chose freedom over conformity. I wish she had too, but she was trapped. If this resonates with anyone, remember that you don't have to love emotional abusers. Run away. Me. I'm dealing with depression, and I struggle to believe I belong anywhere. Feel like a burden to everyone, so I don't want to bring them down. Also have never lived up to what everyone thought I should be. I'm also a lot younger than my siblings, and they hated my dad. We had different fathers, so lots of trauma, and probably me, since I'm so risk averse. My uncle Greg. His Alzheimer's dementia is so bad he doesn't recognize anyone in his family anymore, and visiting just scares and confuses him because it's out of his routine. It's really sad because we do miss him. It's sad to know the next time we see him won't be until his funeral. It's me because I exposed what my brother did to me as a kid, and the whole family took his side except for one auntie. They can all rot, and they whine and complain they can't see my kids much. Sorry, but I won't allow my kids to be around a pedophile. I will go to jail for murder if that cunt brother ever is around my kids again. My cousin was involved in organized crime and put his family through hell. We still kept him around for some reason. He was a charming, handsome, funny cousin. Everybody loved him. Our grandma confronted him over him doing cocaine in the bathroom at a little cousin's birthday. He snapped at her and viciously attacked her, breaking her nose, jaw, and 2 ribs. He then ran out of the house. My uncle and aunt and cousin found him a few days later and beat him with an inch of his life, and then nobody ever spoke to him again. Me. They kept stealing from me, using me for free food, transportation, labor, treating me like shit, and being patronizing as frick. I cut them all out. My found family loves me very much and treats me with respect. They've never stolen from me or tried to use me to get stuff or do stuff for them. My daughter is growing up with loving, supportive people who nurture and protect her, instead of a bunch of grifters who would exploit her as a resource for money and labor, while gaslighting her into believing she's incompetent and stupid. My father-in-law. Boy, where do I start? Eater. Sorry, I obviously had to vent. This got way longer than I intended. TLDR. My abusive, drunk, multi-time scammed, but won't believe it for a second narcissistic, holiday ruining father-in-law. He has been a narcissist his entire life. He was abusive and hard on my mill and the 3 girls. I'm married to the youngest of the 3. They divorced back when my wife was 6, 1987. And my mill said it was the best thing she ever did, even though she didn't have a penny to her name and had to take care of 3 kids. He left and went to Montana and was a truck driver and never sent any money home. After many years, all 3 of the girls have somewhat repaired the relationship with him, but let me tell you, the work has all been by the 3 of them and none by him. He is now just a drunk idiot who acts like a 15-year-old kid with no sense of responsibility. He has been scammed multiple times, has lost over $400,000, does not believe any of us when we tell him he is being scammed, keeps claiming he is just trying to get his stock out of the market, and once the Bitcoin comes through, he'll be set. My wife has bailed him out, not financially, from losing his house, by going to court with him and getting the judge to extend the foreclosure twice now, while also working with Rocket Mortgage to set up auto pay from a new account where his pension goes, so at least the mortgage is being paid automatically now. This man makes $6,000 plus a month from pension and military disability and only has a mortgage to pay, yet is constantly out of money. And he wants us to believe he isn't being scammed anymore, except he sold a motorcycle on FB Marketplace to a fake check scammer and actually let the local friend of the buyer come and pick up the bike with a trailer, because the check cleared his bank and the money was his now, but sure enough, it bounced and that $5,000 was taken back out of his account. And the freaking bike is gone. And on top of all that, he has promised so many things for his grandkids, R2 and 5 more from my 2 sisters-in-law, and has just not delivered on anything. This last Christmas, we hosted everyone at our house, and after last year, we didn't want to invite him because he didn't bring any gifts for the kids yet threw a damn fit that no one got him anything, including us. We don't exchange gifts between the adults, but especially the grandkids. He acted like a baby and left before dinner. So, fast forward to this Christmas, he is all, "Oh, don't you worry, I'll bring gifts for the kids." Yada, yada, yada. So, all 3 families reluctantly each got a gift for him. All 3 of them marked as like they came from the kids of each family. Disclosure, on purpose. We scheduled it, so we already had the kids open their gifts and did that part without him before him arriving. He gets here, has absolutely nothing with him at all, and immediately asks where the beer is, grabs one, and after 2 big swigs asks where his presents are. The last straw was him calling my wife again this last month asking for her help in getting some Bitcoin transferred from a guy he knows, and my wife finding out in the call that he also is being taken to court again by Rocket Mortgage and he also wants her to attend again. Nope, she shut him down and said once you figure out your shit and get out of all this mess we can talk, but until then we are no contact, and hung up. He had the audacity to text her and ask if she would still go to the court hearing with him, and she unloaded on him in her response, reminding him about something he also promised my son that he hasn't accomplished in over a year, telling him that my mill stepped in and took care of it for our son. His response was all about why she did that and trying to make him look bad. Nothing about my son and how he broke his promise. Me. My mother is perpetually miserable, has narcissistic tendencies, and is an emotional vampire. Me putting up healthy boundaries amounted to betrayal in her eyes. As a result, she told me not to come to her funeral when she dies. Say less. Have a nice life. Pose. We don't do this in our family, even the extended one. Our grandma was the black sheep. No one would talk to her. One time she called a family reunion for a week. When we got there, we all had a role to be a black sheep for just a few hours. No one would speak to you. It's very depressing. Our parents told us that's what she faced for more than 20 years. No family spoke to her. There's no one day that passes that I don't check on someone or someone checks on me. When someone is in shit, we all know and we support them. The legacy passes on. We are tight af. If you mess with one of us, I swear my popo uncle will pull you over and have words.